Hello everybody. This is a 12 by 12 by 2 chunk of Zebrano or Zebrawood. It's kiln dried and a little bit punky here and there. I'm going to see about making a square platter with a little resin inlay this week. Haven't done that in a while. This is a 7/16 by 1/8 inch in diameter straight bit. Now, when I did my initial passes on the in-between flower petals, I found that the walls were a little bit brittle. So I had to come up with a different way to approach those walls. And what I came up with was kind of a, and it might be a little unorthodox, but I'm just swinging the router forward and backwards real steady and just taking those areas by the walls down just a little bit at a time. And it was just quicker, I thought, than it would have been if I would have done little micro adjustments on the tool itself. So that's why you see the router shaking, and I'll show you what I'm talking about here in a second. And right there you can see those walls. They're really thin, about an 1/8 inch or a little bit less. And I'm just working my way down, and that puts a lot less stress sideways on those walls. You got to have a really steady hand though, so that router doesn't get away from you. And those of you that watch me quite a bit know that I have a tendency to save my shavings from different projects, especially if the shavings are a pretty color. That first bit was African blackwood, and that is yellow heart, obviously, probably. And red heart. And the idea here is just to have some texture with a little bit of color inside the resin that I'm about to pour. I added just a little bit of pearl mica powder to the resin, and the idea is just to have a a translucent resin with a little bit of a pearl shimmer. Hopefully that works out. Now this resin takes 24 hours to set before it can be worked. So I'm just leveling it. It's going to sit in the shop overnight and all day the next day. And I'll, every few minutes, for about 20 or 30 minutes, I'll hit it with the torch to knock the bubbles down. And obviously there's still some there, but there's none on the inside. All right, let's look at some subscriber projects. I always enjoy this. Like I always say, there's so much talent in this audience. It's amazing. Andrew Patton made these. Really nice work. He's on Instagram. Check the video description for his address. Graham Butler made this museum piece. Graham, that's just amazing. Graham's on YouTube. I'll put a card up in the corner there. And I'll put his address in the video description as well. Swiss Walker made these. Also on Instagram. Be sure to check out that video description. And I want to thank everybody that has subscribed. Those of you that have been with me for years and those that have just joined, I really appreciate each and every one of you. Chasing 200K. I'd appreciate it if you help me get there. All you got to do is smash that subscribe button. It's free. And then if you click the bell, you'll get notifications when I upload a new video. Thanks again. Now that I'm finally turning this piece, the first thing I'm going to do is start shaping the bottom of the bowl. Get the curve down there that I want, and then I'll shape the foot in such a way that it works well aesthetically with the mortise that I'm going to use to reverse mount this onto my chuck. So I know that resin is about 7/16 of an inch deep. So the most that I'm going to go in for this mortise is about 1/8 of an inch. Not a very deep bite, but it's enough. It's actually a little bit more than my jaws need in expansion mode to hold on to this platter. You'll see how I do that later. I sand the bottom up to 500 grit, and then I use axe abrasive paste and then polish. and you'll see more at the end of the video. And there you can see the jaws on the chuck and how they're going to hold on. I don't usually like to have the chuck expanded out that far, but I wanted to be clear of the design so there were no shadows as you hold it up to the light and look through it. I'll show you that later too. I think the biggest challenge turning a square platter like this is to get the even thickness required so that the edges of the platter look uniform. I got it pretty close. Something interesting about a resin inlay like this is you know exactly how thick the bottom of the bowl is. There's really no chance of making a funnel by accidentally cutting too thin. Because once I get down to the resin at the center there, I know I've got about a 1/4 inch thickness. So that's what I'm shooting for. A 1/4 inch, maybe 3/8 of an inch uniform thickness throughout this platter with a nice sweeping curve. And also, you saw that handful of dust that I held up. I hardly got any shavings off of this piece at all. And there's the resin. It's always kind of exciting getting down that far. Once again, I sanded up to 500 grit, and then I applied Axe abrasive paste. Use that for a while, and then Axe polish. And there's a good look at the overall thickness and evenness of the edges. I'm pretty happy with it. It looks okay. I think the only thing I would do different if I did this again, and I will, is I would soak the shavings that I inserted in there in resin first. Thanks for watching, everybody. I sure appreciate it. God bless, and Semper Fi.